The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is back, and there's a little something for everyone in the tournament this year. There's established former competitors, there is fresh odd couples, and there's some cheeky young rascals. Wink, wink. Brace yourself for hard times and plunder, baby. This is NXT Graded. A grudge match to get us underway. Shotzi Blackheart versus Candice LeRae. Candice tries to get an early advantage after she dodges a cannonball from Shotzi, but Blackheart dominates quite a bit of this, using multiple variations on the armbar to wear down Candice's arm in the early stages. Hits a Meteora off the steps, does Shotzi, but Indy Hartwell is ringside causing shenanigans, and this allows Candice to get the advantage going into the break. However, she doesn't keep that advantage because Shotzi's pretty much back on top. When we come back from the break, she hits a beauty of a dive to the outside of the ring, knocking out Candice and Indy at the same time. As we see Candice get back into this match when Shotzi charges at her and she locks in a Gargano escape. Shotzi is able to fight off the Gargano escape by climbing to her feet and hitting like a swinging pendulum neck breaker to break it. That was really cool. Shotzi goes up top, has to fight off Indy Hartwell when she gets there, and that allows Candice LeRae time to get her bearings and hit a top rope swinging neck breaker. Honky Tonk Man, shake, rattle and roll style, as pointed out on commentary, for the 1, 2, 3. Blackheart losing in a match that she dominated for the majority of. And a good match as well. I'm giving it a B. A good opener this week. I think Shotzi seems to keep coming on in leaps and bounds as a performer. And I think this is going to be another big year for her as 2021. Out comes Prince Bálor. He puts over Kyle O'Reilly, his opponent from last week, saying he's great, but not on his level. He says O'Reilly is now eating through a straw. Warns whoever steps up next that they no longer manufacture the cloth that he is cut from. This brings out Pete Dunne and the Brit Am Brawlers. Pete Dunne saying that Bálor should know what's next. It's him. He says the only reason that Bálor is still the NXT champion is because he hasn't taken it from him yet. And he says he's sick of waiting in line. He's not going to wait in line anymore. And Pete Dunne and the Brit Am lads attack Finn Bálor. Here comes Kyle O'Reilly to make the save, followed shortly after by the Undisputed Era. They send the Brit Ams and Pete Dunne running as they stand at the top of the ramp and stare them down. In the ring, you've got Bálor kind of looking and a little bit nodding towards O'Reilly and the Undisputed Era. I'm giving this a B. Strong promo by Bálor that moves us towards a showdown with himself and Dunne, but keeps a lot of other flames lit. Like the idea of seeing Finn Bálor maybe with Kyle O'Reilly again. Kyle O'Reilly seems to also be becoming the leader of the Undisputed Era in subtle ways, I feel. Johnny Gargano backstage talking about his match with Dexter Lumis coming up. He's interrupted by Austin Theory, who gives him an envelope that Lumis gave him, and it's a caricature of a crybaby Johnny Gargano, along with a beautiful caricature of Austin Theory holding his pecker after he got a tank bullet shot into it last week. This is all that they need as motivation going into the match with them later on. It's Gargano versus Dexter Lumis. Up next, though, it's the first round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. It is the Grizzled Young Veterans taking on Ever-Rise. Gibson talks up a storm as he heads down to the ring, saying that they are soon to be recognised as the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Classic and the tag champs and the holders of the George Cross. Just, they're going to be everything. I do like Gibson on the mic. Despite being flustered by Ever-Rise early on, Drake and Gibson take control of this one. Some crisp double team techers from them. Good flapjack lariat combo busted out, as well as a drop toe hold elbow drop by the veteran feeling Ever-Rise. Like, their style is very old school, and I quite like that, but they're up against the Grizzled Young Veterans, and their flurry is cut off almost out of nowhere with a drop kick to the back of the head by Drake, and then a ticket to mayhem for the 1, 2, 3. Giving this a C+. This was good. It wasn't great. Very basic match with some good showcases of techers to sort of establish Grizzled Young Veterans. It seems to be a lack of babyface teams, because we seem to be getting a lot of heel-on-heel teams at the moment, unless we're slowly turning Ever-Rise face. That could be a thing that's happening. Raquel Gonzalez vignette. She says that Rhea Ripley is like 2020. It's a bad memory that we're trying to forget. That is a sick burn. She sets her sights on Io Shirai's NXT Women's Championship. We then go from that to an interview backstage with Shotzi Blackheart. She's putting her loss to Candice LeRae in the rearview mirror, and she's focusing on the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. The women are getting the Tag Classic this year as well, and Shotzi says that she needs a ride or die to stand by her, and she introduces her tag partner in the Women's Dusty Tag Team Classic, Ember Moon. And Ember says that they have a chance to make history together, and they're going to enforce Ember's law. Cool tag team. I like that. Bit makeshift, but then you haven't got established women's tag teams, or at least not many of them, on NXT. So you're going to see a lot of makeshiftery. And so I'm all right with it. I think that's a nice little combo. Johnny Gargano takes on Dexter Lumis next. Gargano tears up the picture that Lumis drew of him in his face early on. And this seems to upset Lumis because he starts very aggressively on this one. Gargano goes for a superplex early on, which was a strange pacing to this match. Ends up getting knocked off the top rope, and as Lumis goes for a swanton, Gargano misses. This puts Gargano in control after the break, thanks in part to distraction run by Austin Theory during the break as well. Lumis bounces back, hits a beauty of a spinebuster followed by a bulldog, and then that beautiful backdrop, kip up, leg drop combo that Lumis pulls out. I'm a big fan of that. Lumis attempts the silence, but Gargano is able to avoid it, gets a crucifix pin for a 2 count. Lumis, there's a great bit because Lumis sits up and stares at Gargano, only to get a big old foot to the face from Johnny Gargano, just for a laugh. Theory grabs Lumis's foot when he bounces off the ropes. This distraction allows Gargano to attempt one final beat, but Lumis deadlifts him, holds him in place, and goes to lock in the silence, that Uranagi into a takedown. He's got the move around the head. Austin Theory's on the ropes running distraction, so we see Lumis let go of that, go to grab Austin Theory. Looks like he's going to overhead suplex him into the ring. Has him in his grips, but then there's Gargano from behind with a roll-up. So in this wonderful sort of rainbow motion, as Gargano rolls up Lumis, Lumis throws Theory across the ring. The roll-up is what does it. Gargano gets the 3. After the match, Lumis locks the silence in on Austin Theory, gets overwhelmed by Johnny Gargano, but here comes Kushida to even the odds. We get a nice bit with Kushida putting the hoverboard lock on Gargano as Lumis puts the silence on Austin Theory outside the ring. Then Kushida grabs the North American Championship and lays it in front of Johnny Gargano, very much staking his claim at a shot at the NA title. Giving this a B-. There was some good stuff in there. It was better than we saw in the tag match before this. A lot more energy and action. Despite the pacing being a bit off, this was still a good match. This was still good. I'm all for Kushida, by the way, getting a shot at the NXT North American title. Backstage, the Brits and Brawlers are planning some evilness when it comes to Kyle O'Reilly. Dunne says that Kyle has put himself in the way of Pete Dunne's title match, so they're going to take him out of the way, and I don't think they're going to do it with a nice conversation. Talking of a nice conversation, we go to a sit-down interview conducted by Wade Barrett earlier today with Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. We are getting the Fight Pit next week, and this is a meeting of the minds before it happens. Thatcher won't reveal the injury that stopped him from competing last week, despite the fact that Ciampa pushes him to reveal it. Ciampa says to change the culture of the NXT locker room, he has to go into enemy territory, which is why he requested the Fight Pit match and not Thatcher. Thatcher says he's never had a problem with Tommaso Ciampa, and Ciampa came after him. Ciampa says as a grappler, Thatcher is great, but as a coach who takes liberties with his students, he's a piece of garbage. Ciampa promises to take liberties with Timothy Thatcher in the Fight Pit next week. Thatcher warns Ciampa that he is a different animal in the Fight Pit and says a lion does not need to explain what he does to a zebra. To which Ciampa says, do I even look like a zebra? He gets very angry about being called a zebra. Zebras are quite cool. The insecurity of Ciampa, Thatcher plays on here, saying that he's a man trying to answer the question of whether or not he's still got it. Tommaso Ciampa says he will answer that question in the Fight Pit next week. This was a B+ for me. This was simple. This was effective. This was very, very, very good. A little bit over cliched at points. I feel like NXT kind of drifts into this territory sometimes where A lot of promos are a whole bunch of cliches, but there was just enough of that and just enough real sort of gritty energy here. I like this a lot. Isaiah Swerve Scott teaming with Jake Atlas in the Dusty Tag Team Classic. New look for Swerve Scott. Sort of new attire as he heads to the ring. Great new robe going on that's silver. He's got a real arrogance about him, and I like him. And we're about to find out what MSK is all about. We saw this when the tag brackets went up for the Dusty Tag Team Classic, and there was one that just said MSK with some question marks around it. Who is MSK? Well, MSK, it's only Nash Carter and Wes Lee, aka the artists formerly known as the Rascals from Impact Wrestling, gosh darn it. The Rascals are in the house. So, it's MSK now, I guess. That's fine, that's fine. Feeling out process to start off with. Swerve low bridging Wes Lee to break the deadlock. We see Wes hit a beauty of a somersault senton outside of the ring before the break. Vic Joseph dropping the line, "These Rascals are high flying." Nice work, Vic. Big fan. Swerve's in charge on the other side of the break, but Carter's able to make a hot tag to Lee, and we see Lee start to turn it around for his team. Atlas and Swerve manage to go back the other way. They hit a gorgeous tilt-a-whirl 450 combo. Nash breaking the cover, which leads to just everybody getting amongst it in the ring. End of the match comes pretty much out of nowhere with MSK hitting a heart attack blockbuster combo for the 1, 2, 3. And that is a debut win for MSK as they fight their way through the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Giving this a B. This was a really nice way to launch these lads in NXT. Great match. Nice combo finisher as well. They're only going to get better. They're holding back, I think, because they're going to give everything as they push through this tournament. The first 3 teams are revealed in the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They are Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm, Kaden Carter and Kacy Catanzaro, and, as we discovered earlier on, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. In fact, later on, Kacy Catanzaro and Kaden Carter cut a promo where they beg Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez, their first round opponents, to underestimate them. I hope they do well. They come up a lot on NXT. Do Casey and Casey, and I really want good stuff for them, so I feel like they're getting battered, but you never know. Scarlett is playing with tarot cards. There's the crux of this being that they killed Damian Priest, and they're now setting their sights on Finn Balor. Nice moody promo that I've brushed over. I'm sure there's layers and layers of stuff that I've not dug into. Maybe you can in the comments below and tell me how wrong I am. That's fine. Zaya Lee is up next. She's facing Valentina Feroz. We didn't see Valentine's entrance. She put it on her Twitter though, and she's got this wonderful lion hat that she wears. Just wanted to point that out. I enjoyed the return of Xia Li last week, and it was quite a quick, easy win for Zaya Lee. Maybe this one might be... Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry, it's finished already. It's literally a back elbow and a spinning roundhouse kick, and Xia Li wins 1, 2, 3. I spent more time talking about the match than the match actually took. Great energy from Xia Li, though, with the master at the top of the stage, who with the hand gesture instructs Xia Li to crush Valenti some more, and so she beats her up on the outside of the ring before making her way up to whoever is in charge. Not the master, because the master is the other guy, but the guy, whoever's in the chair that hasn't got a name yet. This mysterious person. I love the whole setup. Also, nice little touch this that I didn't spot last week or they've only introduced this week. When Xia Li is wrestling, you've got still part of the screen that is virtual fans, and part of them which are lit wall lanterns, like you're in you're in a cave. Cool touch, that. Isaiah Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas, upset with their loss earlier tonight, are getting into a rock backstage. It is broken up by Bronson Reed, who tells Swerve to cool off, and Swerve storms off as if to say, oh, so you're taking his side then. All right, noted. Maybe getting a Swerve and Bronson rivalry in weeks to come, which I'm pretty cool about. And that brings us to our main event. It is another Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic qualifying round. It's Breezango facing Adam Cole and Roderick Strong of Undisputed Era. Kyle O'Reilly is out in their corner for this one. Strong showing by Breezango through a lot of this. They keep Adam Cole at bay for a big part of this match. It's only when Adam manages to break out does Roddy run wild after a hot tag, just dropping backbreakers and backdrops everywhere. Some great double teamery puts Yui in the lead very briefly. But Adam Cole fluffs it on a last shot, runs for it, and there's a duck, and he gets taken down again, and once again Adam Cole gets shut down, and it's Strong who manages to break up a cover. All four men go wild in this match, and we get a double down. As that happens, we see Pete Dunne and the Britann Brawlers make their way towards the ring. Only Lorcan, Danny Burch and Dunne jumping Kyle O'Reilly, and they're looking set to break his jaw, his injured jaw from last week, and Finn Balor charges out to make the save, but he gets beaten down. We see a two-shot combo by Dunne that's very devastating, throws Balor into the barricade, landing on his injured arm, and then with a big forearm shiver and then a running knee, just cracks the jaw of Kyle O'Reilly. Adam Cole, distracted by this, heads towards the outside to try and see to his friend, but gets jumped by Tyler Breeze, near fall as a result of the distraction. But as Tyler Breeze comes off the top rope, Adam Cole lands a super kick and gets the 1, 2, 3. The moment that goes down, Cole rolls out of the ring, and Undisputed Era are tending to Kyle O'Reilly as Pete Dunne and the Britann Brawlers stand on the top of the ramp surveying their damage. Even Danny Burch is there holding the tag team title, playing it like a guitar a la Kyle O'Reilly, which was a nice touch. Main event was a B for me. Two very capable tag teams have a very capable tag match with a beatdown that sort of took over the match near the end. Fine. I feel like Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic might be structured around Adam Cole and Roderick Strong working their way through to face only Lorcan and Danny Burch. Is that the best possible outcome you can get from it? Well, it's not the most unique, but it would certainly work, I guess. And overall this week, NXT was a B for me. Wasn't the best ever, but there was lots of stuff in there to like. I think plenty of focus on the Dusty Classic was essential. Lots of stuff to see from The Way as well. They get quite a shine this week. Xia Li, once again, looking like a badass, which I'm a big fan of. And a strong debut for the team formerly known as the Rascals. Big fan of that. Fight Pit next week. I think NXT will grab the opportunity with both hands to properly dial up the violence. That's hard times, baby. Stay safe. Love you, bye.